The long-awaited Naruto Storm Connections balance patch is here, and it's as close as perfect as you can probably ask. They hit about 90% of the issues that the community had. They hit the poison damage, they hit the armor jutsu, they hit the free counterattacks. Honestly, I don't remember ever seeing a patch this good ever. Not even talking about Storm, I'm talking about fighting games and arena fighters in general. Before we start though, if you're looking for Ishiki, the new DLC, he'll be out tomorrow. So will the new game mode, so check back here if you want to see that coverage. Today is all about this balance patch, starting with battle adjustments that will affect everyone, and then go through the main problem characters. And I do apologize if I miss anything, but I mean, look at this. It's pretty extensive, okay? There's a lot of stuff. But we start with armor jutsu, which aren't so brainless anymore. The armor is still there, ninjutsu in general still have armor, but it doesn't kick in immediately. It takes a while for it to get going, so it actually loses to a lot of other actions, including just a normal chakra dash. If you catch them on startup, you can actually interrupt it. And that means that assists also get hit by this balance change, making it a lot harder to break combos by just tapping the assist button. I love this. I love that jutsu still have armor. I actually did not want it gone, but this is a good middle point where you're not safe just because you hit the button. You're safe if the opponent is too slow. And it also gets rid of the 2 extra combo breakers. I mean, 4 subs plus 2 assists is just too much. Don't worry though, fans of substitutions, they buffed the recovery. You get your subs faster now. They start regenerating after only 10 seconds instead of 15 because they're cowards! Another big change the community wanted was a nerf to poison damage, and so the poison ninja tool is now much weaker, and they made sure that characters that use poison also got hit with a similar nerf. So Hanzo, Cape Kabuto, and Sasori are all in the patch notes with a poison damage nerf as well. Karin is not in the patch notes though, but she's definitely not dealing more poison damage than the others, so I guess that's fine. Also, I did say they hit counterattacks, and they did, but maybe not in the way you were expecting. They're still free. They cost absolutely nothing to do, but they're no longer safe. You cannot switch characters when you do a counter anymore, which means there's actual recovery. You can bait a counter and punish them. It's a huge change. But I think that's gonna do it for the big system changes. I mean, they messed around with the support cooldowns whenever you do leader switches. I think they're trying to encourage more switching. And they buffed the recovery on 2-man teams, so they feel a lot more viable. That's a great change too. Along with that, they made some changes to the auto chakra recovery system as well. It charges slower during jumps and ninja moves, so if you're trying to run away, you don't get that much chakra back. And guard breaks also stun for slightly longer. Really good system changes overall, but an obvious one that I think they missed has to do with menus, and that's the ability to back out of a ranked match after seeing your opponent's connection. If I see a red bar, I want to leave that match and find another opponent. Unfortunately, they didn't fix it. You're still locked in as soon as you find someone. I did say they got about 90% of the patch right. I guess the 10% had to come up somewhere. And speaking of patches, do you remember when I made the anime game community Discord? Back then it was a small server. We had Dragon Ball FighterZ, Storm 4, Demon Slayer, and Tenkaichi tournaments, and that was it. Well, we've been slowly expanding and improving the server, and we just released a new patch for the entire community to make it even better. First of all, the team has been growing, so now we're doing frequent tournaments on every game. We're actually committing to a lot of weekly and bi-weekly events, and that's why if you go to the events tab right now, you will see a ton of upcoming tournaments, so you always know when the next one is. And that also goes for Naruto Storm 4 and Naruto Storm Connections. Plus, we just added a brand new game which is always voted by our Discord members, and that was Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. But even though the game got a lot of votes, not a lot of people actually picked up the role, which is a shame because we found a godlike game master for this game. This is someone who is a tournament organizer for other Grand Blue Discords and is ready to make the AGC part of this bigger Grand Blue circuit, something that we've never had with any of the other games. So if you were interested and just missed the patch, missed us adding the new game, hey, definitely pick up the role. But for everyone else, these are all the games that we support right now. All of them already have events planned or they are gonna have more soon. So join the server, pick up the role of the game you want to compete in, and we're gonna be adding another game very soon. There's gonna be a poll where you can vote on what game gets added. Link to the server down below, and let's get back into this patch. Let's talk about character-specific buffs. There are none. Everyone got nerfed. Starting with my favorite nerfs, which hit several problem assists. The most used assist in the entire competitive scene was without a doubt Ashura. He got a big support nerf. He now has a longer cooldown on both of his assists, and I would say even though this is not in the patch notes, his tracking also got nerfed. It just felt a lot easier to dodge, but maybe that was just me. The tracking definitely got nerfed on Naruto Tail Beast Bomb. Yeah, that Rain of Shadow clones is now so much easier to dodge much for sure. And pre-time skip Temari also got her tracking nerfed on this very, very annoying assist. Plus, that assist also has a longer cooldown now if you decide to use it, so she was absolutely nuked. And they didn't stop there, though maybe these next assists weren't as big of a problem, they still got hit with nerfs. Pre-time skip Gaara has a longer cooldown on both of his assists, and the Scent Shower, I get it. Scent Burial, maybe didn't need it. Utakata got a longer cooldown on his Bubble Drift as an assist, but he actually got a shorter cooldown on his Bubble Jutsu, so a bit of a nerf with a bit of a buff. And the third Hokage, this is a weird one, got his homing shuriken nerfed. Now, I get it, that was an annoying one to deal with in some situations, but it's weird that Hashirama's shadow shuriken isn't in the patch notes. Hard to say if he actually got hit with a nerf from testing, but I can definitely say that the tracking on Hashirama feels better than the third Hokage right now. I don't know, maybe they both got nerfed, they just forgot to type it. And you might be yelling at your screen right now, what? Those aren't all the broken assists? There's loads more! You're right, there's more. All palm rotations have a longer cooldown now, so that's Neji, Hinata, and Hanabi. Hinata comes with a bonus nerf because they also made the cooldown on air palm assists longer, and if she's the active character, air palm also costs more chakra. And Hanabi also got hit with an increased chakra cost on palm rotation for some reason. And if you're still yelling at your screen, don't worry, I'm happy to announce that Almighty Push is also getting hit. So that is Sasuke the Last, Pain, and Nagato. Almighty Push now has a shorter hitbox duration, meaning that it goes away faster. It's easier to punish. And if Almighty Push is done in the air, it deals a lot less damage. These characters also got hit with a longer cooldown when you use Almighty Push as an assist, except for Pain for some reason. He didn't get the cooldown nerf. On top of it, Nagato got a cooldown buff on his other assists to balance it out a little bit. Okay, now we are definitely done with assists. If you're still yelling at your screen, I'm sorry, I got nothing else. But there are a lot of character changes, mostly nerfs, and some of these nerfs affect ninjutsu. So maybe, indirectly, they'll hit some of those assists that you still hate. Sarada, the strongest character in the game, free. They hit her exactly where she needed to be hit. They decreased the speed of her second attack. That kunai now travels a lot slower, and if that wasn't enough, they also lowered her defense, so she takes more damage now. I don't know, that kunai feels a lot easier to dodge, so that definitely feels like a nerf to me. Kiba, another big problem character, also takes more damage now, and they hit both of his ninjutsu. Both of them require more chakra if you want to do them, so it's harder to spam. And they reduce the damage and guard damage of Akamaru specifically. So you still do the same damage as Kiba, even if it costs more chakra, but if Akamaru catches the opponent, which happens all the time, he's not going to be as damaging. Mitsuki had a huge bug that just made him invincible when awakened, like actually broken. He could not take any damage at all during his combos, and now the invincibility only happens at the start. So he still has some, but it's not as broken anymore. Jigen was a very popular pick, I think mainly because of his first jutsu. And CC2 noticed that, so they made it cost more chakra and gave it a bigger cooldown as a support, and I'm a big fan of that. It doesn't kill the move at all, it just makes it more expensive. The same idea was applied to PTS Shino. His first jutsu takes more chakra and also has a longer cooldown if you want to use it as a support. Reanimated Minato had an extremely annoying jutsu which just teleported him with a Rasengan, and for the most part it still works the same, but the invincibility of the jutsu expires much sooner. So this is incredibly easy to punish now. Goodbye spammers, you're not getting carried by this anymore. And speaking of carried, who told them about Rock Lee? Why would they do this to my boy? They nerfed the damage that his first jutsu deals if activated in the air, and it knocks the opponents down. You can't extend it into a combo anymore. Well, maybe if you have the right height, you may restand them, but it feels a lot more situational. My boy did nothing wrong. Why are you nerfing my main? And I'll mention 2 more nerfs to wrap up this video. I'm not sure that these characters deserve them, but they got hit pretty hard. Danzo now takes more damage, and they nerfed the damage of his first ninjutsu. And Obito's first jutsu also got hit. It costs more chakra. If you do it in the air, it deals less damage. And if you use it as an assist, the cooldown is also longer. Personally, I don't play these characters, and I never really ran into many of them online, so I wasn't aware that they needed a nerf. And there are more notes, but they seem much smaller than the ones I just mentioned, so I'm gonna call it here. What a great patch. I cannot wait to play some matches, maybe find a new team to mess around with. And if you want to do the same, there's no better time than right now because everyone's discovering this patch together. And we've got a Connections tournament on the AGC Discord happening this weekend, hosted by Biscuit. The link to AGC is down below. Make sure to join, get your rolls, and sign up for the tournament. Check back tomorrow for the DLC review, and until then, have a good one. Boy.